Hello. Is that you? It's the entire universe experiencing itself subjectively. On today's episode of the 1 Year Life Transformation Challenge. Hello everyone. Weird intro, but I thought I would help illustrate the point of what we're dealing with today, which is the concept of who you really are, and what you really are and how this all works together. I know we've all felt, and I definitely have, of sometimes not feeling good enough. Like, I'm just not good enough. I can't live up to my expectations or the beliefs and ideas of myself and others. And not knowing who you really are is ultimately at the source of that. I mean, we all know amazing individuals who have, for whatever reasons, committed suicide. While the world thought they were amazing, they didn't think they were amazing. I mean, the amazing Heath Ledger produced one of the greatest performances of all time as the Joker, only to kill himself a few months later after receiving $20 million because he didn't feel good enough. Heath didn't know what he was, and he allowed the rest of the world to tell him what he was. He was the universe expressing itself through that particular form at that time. And I think once we understand this, which is a scientific fact and a spiritual knowing, we can really start to move forward with our lives and leave the fears and phobias behind. So as always, I'm going to begin with a quote. The quote is, "You are not in the universe, you are the universe, an intrinsic part of it. Ultimately, you're not a person, but a focal point where the universe is becoming conscious of itself. What an amazing miracle." I'm going to read that one more time because it's so powerful. You are not in the universe, you are the universe. An intrinsic part of it. Ultimately, you are not a person, but a focal point where the universe is becoming conscious of itself. What an amazing miracle. It's true. When you say, "Who am I?" who is saying, "Who am I?" Obviously, when you answer the question, "Well, I am Brad," who is saying that I am Brad? Because it can't be the person asking the question, because how can you answer your own question? And who's aware of the conversation that's happening in my head? How can I be aware of a conversation about who I am? A fire cannot know heat, as a fish really doesn't understand water. We are unseparate from the rest of the world. And as we explore quantum mechanics and some of the videos I've done on quantum mechanics in regards to quantum entanglement and the ability for particles to be in two places at one time, we are all things and all beings simply observing. It's a very powerful place to be. One of the greatest luminaries of our time, Bill Hicks, a wonderful comedian. If you don't know who Bill Hicks is, please Google him after this video. He is a huge reason why the 1 Year Life Challenge exists, because I was lucky enough to hear so much from Bill. So I'm going to play a quote from Bill and I'll let it speak for himself.
Today, a young man on acid realized that all matter is merely energy condensed to a slow vibration, that we are all one consciousness experiencing itself subjectively. There is no such thing as death. Life is only a dream, and we are the imagination of ourselves.
Bill Hicks had an amazing way of putting things. I wish I was as smart and as eloquent as he is, but he's no longer here on this mortal plane, so I guess it's left up to dummies like me to try and explain what he meant. And I'm going to use 6 ways that have helped me understand who I really am and illustrate them in today's video. So number 1, the way I know I'm the universe is that I'm more than time. I'm timeless. Now, let's look at the science. Can't be a Big Bang, because the Big Bang created time. Therefore, before the Big Bang, it was eternal. But if it was eternal, that means forever. Therefore, the Big Bang could never have happened, because before the Big Bang was eternal. Have I confused you? Hopefully, because time is confusing and it doesn't exist. Let's look at another way. We've got the formation of the universe, big deal, and then we've got the next 14 or so billion years, and we've got like the cosmos, sort of coming together. We've got planets being formed. We've got the ignition of our sun. We've then got dinosaurs. Then we have sort of, the classical era. I'm fast forwarding real quick now. And then we have me. So the only time we're aware of or conclusively can prove is this very moment here. So therefore, am I that amazing and awesome that I happen to be speaking right now at this moment of time? No, this field of experience is its own moment that exists for eternity. The idea of time is just a simple concept that helps us understand back and forward. But we all know that the past is dead and the future is yet to happen. So ultimately, understanding time helps me understand how I'm the universe. In fact, let's say when I was 10 years old, for example, I had atoms in me that were here from the Big Bang. So 14 billion-year-old atoms in a 10-year-old kid. In fact, I was only made up of 14 billion-year-old atoms as a 10-year-old kid. Helps me understand a little bit better how time can help me understand that I am the universe. 2, you are all things at once. The quantum mechanics understanding of the probability field. So the probability field is that nothing is concrete, and we live in a field of waves, and those waves are collapsed once the conscious observer comes into play. Therefore, the conscious observer and the probability waves must be united and must be one source, which is what we call the universe. Number 3, the third way I know I'm the universe, I don't believe, I don't think, I don't research it, I know, is laughter. I laugh all the time. I think I'm very funny actually, and I laugh all the time at my own jokes and sometimes even at other people's jokes. Why would the universe allow laughter? Like help me understand, why do people laugh? I mean, it serves no purpose, We could very well get on with our lives, we could find meat and food and protein and drink water, and we'd never need humour, we'd never need to laugh, we'd never need to experience joy and smiles, but it's there. And when I hear someone laugh, it reminds me that there's something bigger going on, that we are much more powerful than we believe. Otherwise, why would there be such an unnecessary need for joy and love? Number 4, I know I'm the universe because everything works out. There's not an event in my life that I can't look back on that didn't help me reach this very video right here. In fact, if any of those moments had changed even a slight amount, a few seconds here or a few minutes there, ultimately I couldn't be making this video. Therefore, this reality wouldn't exist, which means the whole thing comes crumbling down. Everything has a reason and everything works out in the end. When the sun ignited and sent out huge amounts of radiation through the solar system, there was a reason for that. When the Earth's core cooled, which would have been absolutely devastating, you could look at that, oh my God, the Earth is cooling, that gave birth to life. Perspective allows you to see that everything works out. Number 5, I know what's right. I don't know how to explain that. I wish I had a better vocabulary, but ultimately I don't think there's a vocabulary. There is understanding, yep, I get it, and there is knowing. I know because I see it when a child smiles and I see it when the sun comes up. We are all connected. I know I feel pain when I see others hurt, and I'm sure that they can feel the same as when it happens to me. We are connected and I know it. Whether I can explain it or not is up to you. And the final, 6th reason I know we're the universe, compassion. We all have the ability to be compassionate and to help others. Once again, it's not necessary for the universe for there to need to be compassion. Compassion did not have to arise if we were not all manufacturing this connected universe together. It would just be everything for itself and every atom for itself. But atoms only make matter, or the vibrational frequency of strings only make matter once they come together and be together. You must be together, connected, or one as one source in order to make anything happen. And ultimately, one atom missing, as we know when for example, you mess around with one atom, as we know in the case of a nuclear explosion, bad things happen. So all these atoms are here together for a reason, and their need for each other is incredible, and it's that connective source and why we're the universe. You should never, ever feel less than. You are simply creation. You are simply the stars that shine. You are the mirror. You are the subjective audience that watches the universe play out the rainbows and the solar storms and get to see the raindrops. You are the creator, the observer, and we're all in this together. Never feel less than. Never let anyone diminish you. How could God ever be diminished? And that's what we are. Together, collectively, we are that. We are the universe. Something that's helped me, really drive my life forward, allowed insecurities to peel off me. Ultimately, Jupiter doesn't stress too much about what's going on the news at the moment, and in the same way you shouldn't stress around the little phenomenal things that happen around you. You are much deeper than that, and you will exist The same way when I was 10 years old, 10 billion year old atoms existed in me, you exist in multiple forms for eternity. That will allow you to breathe and just let go, because it's all going to be okay. It'll be so okay that I'll see you tomorrow for another video on this 1 year life transformation challenge. Goodbye.